Good morning, and welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Society of Albany. My name is Reverend Sam Trumbore, and I serve as the minister of this congregation. Before we begin, please check to make sure your microphone is muted. You can also turn your camera off if your image is potentially distracting. Please also be mindful of your speech while on Zoom, as microphones have a way of getting accidentally unmuted. This will minimize any disruption of our service. You will also notice closed captioning at the bottom of your screen. If you would like to turn that off or on, find the CC option on your Zoom toolbar and select the up arrow to access it. Thanks so much for your cooperation. This isn't the service we had hoped to have this morning. Normally, this room would be full of bustling energy and people eager to begin another year of services together. Due to COVID, we are delaying our opening, and even then, we'll be meeting in limited numbers with masks and without singing. But we know this will not last forever. And we are adaptable. So we've adjusted our service to make it work as best we can. Whether in person or virtual, this is a vibrant community that will not be defeated by a virus. Let us begin with these words by Deborah Hafner titled, "A New Year for Beloved Community." Happy New Year, La Shava Tavo, La Shana Tava, to those of you from Jewish backgrounds having celebrated Rosh Hashanah last Tuesday. Happy New Year for our beloved community. May it be a We gather together at the start of this new year as people of many ages, as people of many sexual orientations and gender identities, as people of many races and ethnicities, as people of many theologies and religious backgrounds. Woven together in our love for this community, with our hopes and dreams and prayers for the year before us, with our hearts and minds and spirits ready to be touched by the year before us, ready with our hands and time and talents to be offered in the year before us, we gather together at the start of a new year with gratitude and love for those who have come before us, for those who stand with us, for those yet to join us. May it be a good year. May it be a sweet year. Come, let us join together in the celebration of life. Our prelude this morning is Morning Glory by Duke Ellington, and it will be presented by Anne Brandon. Please join in the chalice lighting words that you will see soon on the screen as Al lights the chalice. Welcoming all free seekers of truth and meaning, we gather to excite the human spirit, to inspire its growth and development, to respond morally and ethically to a troubled world, and to sustain a vital and nurturing religious community. Next, we'll sing a unison song. The words will appear on the screen. Please enjoy singing "When Our Heart is in a Holy Place" by Joyce Poley, and it'll be presented by Randy Rosette.
When our heart is in a holy place.
Our opening reading. These are uncertain times. Those of us who want to live in the future are having a hard time. I don't know when we will be free of COVID. We don't know if one of our family members might get sick. We worry and fret about what might happen. Here are some words of comfort and wisdom on the subject from Gilda Radner. I wanted a perfect ending. Now I've learned the hard way that some poems don't rhyme and some stories don't have a clear beginning, middle, and end. Life is about not knowing, having to change, taking the moment and making it the best of it, without knowing what's going to happen next. Delicious ambiguity. Brené Brown. Choosing to be curious is choosing to be vulnerable because it requires us to surrender to uncertainty. It wasn't always a choice. We were born curious. But over time, we learn that curiosity, like vulnerability, can lead to hurt. As a result, we turn to self-protecting, choosing certainty over curiosity, armor over vulnerability, and knowing over learning. From Pema Chodron. Looking deeper, we could say that the real cause of suffering is not being able to tolerate uncertainty and thinking that it's perfectly sane, perfectly normal to deny the fundamental groundlessness of being human. And from Rilke, be patient towards all that is unsolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves, like locked rooms and like books that are now written in a very foreign tongue. Do not now seek the answers which cannot be given to you, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along the same distant day into the answer. And from wise prophet Albus Dumbledore, happiness can be found even in the darkest times if only one remembers to turn on the light.
Hello, everybody. I am so excited to present a story today from Leah. No, not Leah Purcell, Leah Morris. Leah Morris is a musician and storyteller whose work was incorporated into some of our Sunday school curriculum last year. This year, we will enjoy a story and a song from her once each month that ties into that month's Soul Matters theme. I hope you enjoy this telling of maybe, maybe not, here in this month of embracing possibility.
Let me tell you about Farmer Chin. Farmer Chin had a pretty typical life. He had his acres and his harvest to tend to. He had his animals and his family to help with the tasks. He also had neighbors who would sometimes visit and bring dumplings and their opinions. One day, Farmer Chin's strongest, most beautiful horse ran away, and the neighbors came immediately to express their sorrow for Farmer Chin having lost one of his most valuable possessions. And they asked him if he wasn't just sad as he could be about that change of fortune. After all, losing value is a horrible thing to experience. Farmer Chin's response was, maybe yes, maybe no. The following day, that horse returned with 10 other wild horses, equally beautiful, equally strong, adding to Farmer Chin's stables. And the neighbors came running, celebrating, saying how wonderful it was that he now had all of these additional horses. Farmer Chin's response was, maybe yes, maybe no. The next day, his oldest child, who was to be the heir to the farm, the child who showed the most interest in inheriting this land and this responsibility, was taming the horses, or trying to, and their leg was broken in the process. And the neighbors came running once again to lament this change of fortune, saying how disappointed Farmer Chin must be that his child would now grow up, possibly with a limp for the rest of their lives. Isn't that just a sorrowful, sad state of affairs? Farmer Chin said, maybe yes, maybe no. A week later, an announcement went throughout the kingdom that war was at hand, and that the young, strong, able-bodied children would be conscripted into the army and into the service of the kingdom. But Farmer Chin's child wasn't able to go because their leg had just been broken. And the neighbors came running with the dumplings and the opinions, saying how wonderful it was. What a relief it must be to Farmer Chin that his child would not have to go and fight in the war. And Farmer Chin responded, I bet you can guess, maybe yes, maybe no. This story reminds us that we always have the choice to remain open, to embrace all the possibilities in a situation when we might be tempted to immediately assume that something is a tragedy or even a great boon, that we might take a second, reevaluate the situation, and see how it unfolds.
Let us turn inward to reflect on not knowing. Not knowing what comes next can make people anxious and afraid. The mind can dream up so many ways for things to go wrong. This is what the mind is very good at. Looking for problems and then looking for solutions and then finding new problems and new solutions in an endless loop. We can break that distressing, energy-sapping mind loop by paying close attention to what is happening in the present moment. To give that a try, I invite you to join me now in a noticing meditation. Notice what smells are present right now. Notice sensations: warm, cool, tingling, sharp, dull, itchy, achy, whatever, from your skin and from your bodies that constantly ask for the mind's attention. Notice the experience of hearing without reaching to identify sounds. Just being with the flow of pleasant and unpleasant sounds as they arise and pass away. Noticing and noticing and noticing moment by moment by moment. Using noticing in this way, immerse yourself in the flow of life right now as we enjoy this silent meditation video that was taken in Zion National Park in the canyon of a river flowing. Remember how excited we were in June, imagining the end of COVID with everyone vaccinated. Infections were down. We were in the new normal green zone of less than 1 per 100,000 new cases. People were going to each other's houses without masks and enjoying meals together. Restaurants were reopening. It was a time of release and celebration. Farmer Chin's neighbors would have been celebrating and having parties. And now we are back to wearing masks indoors. And how many of our families are anxious right now about sending our children back to school, especially the unvaccinated ones vulnerable to COVID. We know how important learning is and the social experience of being in school. Yet this isn't the return to school this fall that we had hoped for. And the tragedy of our exit from Afghanistan in August that put so many lives at risk there. And then the hurricanes made bigger by climate change that raked over us and swamped New York City and New Jersey and Philadelphia. And while it is less significant that Hurricane Ida or Afghanistan is here in Albany, UU, with our delayed start, we are not able to have the big homecoming Sunday service we had hoped, with a big party and a sheet cake and punch. When we do eventually reopen, and that day will come, we'll still not be able to eat, drink, or sing together. And we'll need to sit in socially distant pods, which we've got set up right now. Our congregational size in community hall will be a maximum of 50. There will be no coffee hour, no shakings of hands after the service. Let's face it, this is depressing and discouraging. This isn't how we wanted our fall to start. I know Farmer Chen's neighbors would be pitying us, shaking their heads and thinking the worst was yet to come. We need to acknowledge that it has been a rough summer. We need to appreciate that many of us greeted September tired, worried, cranky, and worn down. And I expect Farmer Chen's neighbors would be wringing their hands and forecasting doom. But what would Farmer Chen be saying right now? Maybe yes, maybe no. And I'll be wagering he'd say, we'll see. Your board of trustees has been very careful, trying to decide whether to start in-person services again. They've been taking a wait and see attitude as the new case rates fluctuate up and down and back up again. They want things to settle down from the first weeks of school. They don't want to risk people's health by opening too soon. But I think I see positive changes in the numbers that are promising. Maybe yes, maybe no, we'll see. We haven't skipped a beat for our virtual offerings, however. Albany UU Sings continues. Meeting Matters starts up this month. RE will be getting going in October. Walker Book Club is meeting. Philosophy hasn't stopped all summer. Circle dinners are on track. Virtual or in person, we will not stop our programming. I know it's hard to live with not knowing exactly what comes next. But each day is a new day. We don't know as it begins how it will be. Maybe good, maybe bad, we'll see. It will be our job to meet whatever comes next and make the best of it. Leah Morris has a song about living in the who knows what is coming next space that goes along with these words and the story that we'll enjoy now to conclude the homily.
And you know, that story inspired me to write this song. The journey isn't over. The race is far from run. The story isn't written. The game's just begun. Each day is a new day. Every day is a new day. Who knows what comes next? If misery befalls you, let the misery take hold. When tragedy calls you, you can let the thing unfold. Each day is a new day, every day is a new day. Who knows what comes next? This might be the best day you ever had. The truth is, no day is really good or bad. Might be the path that you've chosen. Might be the last one you would. Things might be getting so crazy. You would laugh if you could. Slide on through it with grace. Open your heart and embrace whatever comes next. Slide into it with grace. Open your heart and embrace whatever comes next. Whatever comes next.
Each year here at Albany UU, we are warmly welcomed to the new church year with the collection of water from our various summer experiences. Have you ever wondered where this tradition came from? I did. And I learned that the first water ritual was held in East Lansing, Michigan in November 1980 at a worship service for the Women and Religion Continental Convocation of Unitarian Universalists. If you're trying to do the math, that was almost 41 years ago. The service's creators, Carolyn McDade and Lucille Shuck Longview, had a goal of creating a ritual, quote, that spoke to our connectedness to one another, to the totality of life, and to our place on this planet, end quote. At that first water ritual, water was poured into a large earthenware bowl by 8 different women from 8 distant places, and each person talked about why the water they poured was meaningful for them. Carolyn McDade, one of the ritual's creators, said, "As the ritual is continued, water deepens in meaning for us, just as water deepens during its long and winding journey to the sea." And now that we know a bit of its origin story, we turn our attention to our very own Albany UU Water Communion. Like last year, but unlike any other year, our congregation was invited to bring their water to the outside of our church building and be recorded pouring it into the communal vessel. Reverend Sam took and compiled that video, and in just a few minutes we'll watch it. While it's playing, please take the opportunity to type into the chat where your water is from, and I'll read those comments out loud after the video. And finally, if you wish to bring your water to be added in person, there will be an opportunity to do so at our gathering this afternoon from 1 to 4 at Henry Hudson Park in Selkirk. The whole congregation is invited, whether you want to bring your water or not. Information about this gathering can be found at our website, albanyuu.org. And now we'll watch our video.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Michael Hornsby, and first of all, it's really good to begin the new church year. This water that I'm going to pour into our bowl is from Great Barrington, Massachusetts. It's the water that was given to me at the provost reception for the beginning of the school year at Bard College at Simon's Rock, where Lucia is beginning her college career there. So I'm going to pour it in here. Take care, everybody. Bye.
I have water from Lake Maury in Fairleigh, Vermont.
So this water is from Black Lives Memorial at John Brown's farm, Lake Placid, New York, from this summer. Thank you.
This is water from my son's 300-foot deep well in Eugene, Oregon, where they've been undergoing a severe drought. We hope the water holds.
And we have virtual water here from the Cape Cod Beach near Woods Hole, Massachusetts.
I'm Jeff Abbas, and I have here some water from our home in Wynantskill and also Ben's new home at RIT in Rochester, New York.
Okay, this is ocean water from Ogunquit, Maine.
All right. Thank you so much for bringing your water, everybody who participated in the video, and thank you so much to Reverend Sam for putting that together. Here in the chat, I see Cynthia Johnson has water from my pond. Julia W. says, water is from my tap because I'm grateful for my home. Chris Bystroff from Kauai. Paula and Steve M., Lake Bomoseen, Vermont. Chuck Manning, our water came from Puget Sound. It was collected with the help of our son. Annika Pfluger from my home. Jean Poppy, water from our new camper van that allowed us to visit our family in Silver Spring, Maryland. Kathy DeMille, Knopf Lane, Colony and the Crossings next to our home. Julie Lameau, Rain Barrel at Snyder's Lake, New York. Deborah Vogel, Rollins Pond, Adirondacks. Mary Applegate, my water is from my garden hose. I'm planting a new garden this year. Martha and David Musser from the Kenai Fjord in Alaska. Karen Kaufman from my backyard pool, the pure joy of summer. Molly Daniels, Old Orchard Beach in Maine. Jen Q, agreed about backyard bliss. My pool is my sanctuary. Mitch and Anne Marie, our water is from our solar fountain in our backyard in Troy. Tammy Hathaway, my water is from a puddle behind our barn that seems to have become a permanent fixture since the flood. Carolyn Bradley, my water comes from Babcock Lake, where I live for 4 months every year in the summer. I have lived on the lake for over 37 years. Elizabeth Berberian, my water is from Dave and Deb McLeod's swimming pool, with many thanks for their generosity for providing me a wonderful summer of swimming together. Molly Daniels, water from Western New England University, where Iris is in college. Valerie Plamondon from our new backyard pool, our pandemic project. Danielle Schaff, water from Lake Pleasant, Maine. Darnell, rainwater from my backyard and symbolic water from Unirondack. Jennifer Birkin, Mirror Lake, Michigan. I'm just going to take a quick scroll to be sure that I don't think I missed anybody. All right. Oh, Mary Fellows writes Acadia National Park. All right. I do think that I've got them all. If I missed yours or mispronounced it or made a mistake, I apologize. I'm still kind of new at live broadcasting. Thank you all so much for sharing. And again, if you wish to bring your water to be joined with what we have here, or if you would just like to enjoy some time together, please come to Henry Hudson Park this afternoon between 1 and 4 o'clock. And now, Reverend Sam will make the final pour and bless our water.
And if you'd like to do your own pour at home, we can all sort of pour together. You could have a bowl and then pour it into a bowl and maybe go to the gallery view so you can see it. So this is symbolically all of your water poured into this common vessel. And let us bless all of this water that's we've joined together. While we can't collectively gather closely together, our individual splashes of water can mix together in a common vessel. We have mixed virtually our fresh and salt water, flowing water and still water, river, lake, and ocean water, water from 300 feet down into the ground, from rain, snow, fog, and mist water, blue, rock-hard ice water that came from the bottom of a glacier or melted from the top of a sun-drenched mountain, boiling water once poured over tea leaves and over coffee grounds. Like the unified nature of all water in diverse forms, notice a similar quality of aliveness that animates us, though each of us is unique. Like water, every emotion, every body sensation, every thought process, each one is a shared experience from the same source of life, though each has its different personal forms. May we be refreshed, buoyed by this symbolic water joining us today in community. May it rehydrate our community, our congregation, as it joins us together and reminds us how much we need each other. Amen, and blessed be.
An important way we celebrate life each Sunday is by offering an opportunity to practice generosity. Members and friends support our congregation with an annual pledge paid throughout the year. Another way to support the good work of this congregation is by making a generous contribution by way of one of the options that are now shown on this next slide. You can click on the tiny U-R-L link in the chat window to contribute, or you can send a text to the number shown on the screen. The examples on the slide show you how to label your text to indicate the amount that you would like to give and the purpose or the intent of your gift. We must now say We don't have Facebook today. The offertory is Let There Be Peace on Earth by Jill Jackson Miller and Cy Miller, and the musician is Ann Brandon on the piano. We enjoy welcoming guests and visitors to our service. If you are a guest or a visitor and would like to tell us who you are and where you are from, you can click on the raise hand symbol. Depending on your Zoom version, you will find the raise hand option either in the participant window or in the reactions button on your Zoom toolbar. Our technician will invite you to unmute and introduce yourself. You may also, or instead, click on the visitor link, and you'll find that now in the chat window.
At the moment, Al, I don't see anybody who is looking to introduce themselves.
Chris, you're getting feedback.
It was mine. Don't worry about it. I got it. All right, moving on.
Are there any others? Thank you and welcome to all who have joined us today. If you'd like to learn more about our congregation or about Unitarian Universalism, you can find in the participant window someone with welcome before their name. You can reach out to that person privately in the chat window now or after the service. We now welcome the chance to greet each other. In your Zoom format, this is done through virtual breakout rooms. You can say hello and share your name. This will last about 2 minutes, and then we'll all come back together again.
And now we have a community message from our consultant for RE, Michelle Townsend Grove.
It is such a privilege to do this work because discernment work around lifespan religious education is valuable work for Unitarian Universalists. Learning at all levels and with the full congregation is so important, and anybody who is a part of congregational life learns in some way. That is why I hope that you will engage with this process at some point. During the month of September, I will be with you 4 different occasions, 2 of them in person, where we will be doing some workshops. And during that time, I'll also be in worship with you and look forward to that. And then 2 online. And the 4 workshops are meant in September to look at your lifespan religious education history. What are the stories that you tell? What do you have to celebrate? What are the growing edges around learning and religious education? Remember, religious education is not just something that is in classrooms. It is something that happens all over. It involves you, and so I hope that you will participate. You will learn some things. You will hear stories that make your heart sing. You might hear some things that are uncomfortable, but we will hold those together as a community. And then as we tell stories and see the patterns within those stories, we will then be able to use them to do our work in October and November, which is looking at our identity and then later into the future. Where are you going? So I hope that you will join us. We will have workshops on Saturday morning, the September 18th, and then we'll worship together, of course, on September 19th. The second workshop is Sunday afternoon, and then the next 2 are online, the 29th and the 30th of September. Now, the first two are going to be multi-platform, which means you can either meet in person or online, and we'll incorporate in. Please know, with the way the pandemic is, we might have to switch to full online, and if that's the case, for safety, we'll do so. But if we do meet in person and online, we will incorporate everybody. We'll have a good time, we'll learn, and we'll value the stories that make you all so special. Thank you for this opportunity. I hope you will come and be a part. Blessings.
This is the time set aside in our service for sharing significant personal milestones in our lives. There are three ways to share our joy or sorrow. The first option is to type your joy or sorrow in the chat window. Please put the words "read aloud" at the beginning of your message if you would like us to do that. Please also consider connecting privately in the chat with a pastoral care associate. Today, I'm the pastoral care associate, and you can note that in the chat window. The second option is to click the raise hand symbol found either in the participant window or under the reactions button.
To receive these words. Spirit of life and love, source of being experienced as presence and knowing, that becomes known in the holy, be in and amongst us now. Our hearts extend this morning to those enduring physical and mental suffering, especially those fighting disease, COVID, other illnesses. Those on the West Coast dealing with the continuing fires. We remember those who died on September 11th, 2001, and their family, friends, and loved ones who strive to live on without them. We mourn the collapse of the Afghan government and the restoration of the Taliban to power. We pray for the Afghans who were not able to leave. Afghans who fear for their lives because of their cooperation with America. May they find a way out of danger. Each day is a weaving of joy and woe that binds us to this life below. And what awaits beyond our last breath, we cannot know. Yet here today, in beloved community, safely through the world we go. So be it, and amen. And our closing song is Let It Be a Dance by Rick Maston, arranged by Betty Wilder, and song leaders are Chris Jensen and Randy Rosette.
As we extinguish the chalice, please join in the words shown on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. The benediction is by Dana Worshop. Often people say that they love coming to a place with so many like-minded people. I know just what they're getting at, and I know that they aren't getting it quite right. I don't want to be with a bunch of people who think just like me. I want to be in a beloved community where I don't have to think like everybody else to be loved, to be eligible for salvation. I want to be with people who value compassion, justice, love, and truth, though they have different thoughts and opinions about all sorts of things. I want to be with independent, like-minded people of good heart. I want to be with people who have many names and no name at all for God. I want to be with people who see me, in me, goodness and dignity, and who also see my failings and foibles, but who still love me. I want to be with people who feel their interconnection with all existence and let it guide their footfalls upon the earth. I want to be with people who see life as a paradox, and I don't always rush to resolve it. I want to be with people who are willing to walk the tightrope that is life, and who will hold my hand as I walk mine. I want to be with people who let church call them in different ways of being in the world. I want to be with people who support, encourage, and even challenge each other to higher and more ethical living. I want to be with people who inspire one another to follow the call of the Spirit. I want to be with people who covenant to be honest, engaging, and kind, who strive to keep their promises and hold me to the promises that I make. I want to be with people who give of themselves, who share their hearts and minds and gifts. And I want to be with people who know that human community is often warm and generous, sometimes challenging, and almost always a grand adventure. In short, I want to be with people like you. And let's all do that when we get to Henry Hudson Park this afternoon. Our thanks to these folks, musicians today, and Brandon, Chris Jensen, and Randy Rosette, our pastoral care associate, Chuck Manning, the ushers, Kristen Abbas, Annika Pfluger, Kathy Harris, and Jean Popeye. Welcomer is Bob Manning. The office support is from Tammy Hathaway and Patience Bichette. The technical support from Chris Jensen. And yours truly, El DeSalvo, I'm the service associate today. And we have announcements. That'll be right here, and there they are on the screen. Stay on after the service. Actually, we won't have any after-service discussion today, as we will have an opportunity to meet and talk at Henry Hudson Park. So you can join us for that outdoor social gathering today at the Henry Hudson Park Pavilion from 1 to 4. It's on Barnett Winnie Road. It's just off of Route 144. Bring your own food and beverages, a lawn game, and a camp chair if desired. Face masks are encouraged. The Walker Book Group reconvenes tonight by way of Zoom at 6:30 in the evening. Come 15 minutes earlier for conversation. Check out albanyuu.org to learn more. Circle dinners again resume on September 17th, still virtual, and September 18th, that one in person and outdoors. Learn more and sign up by emailing John Sherman at johnsSherman@gmail.com by September 15th. To receive Albany UU e-news, contact our church administrator, Tammy Hathaway, at admin@albanyuu.org. Are there any other announcements that anyone wants to make?